Marshall with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. First name is spelled D-E-A-N. The last name is spelled L-A-N as in Nancy, I-E-R. So on Friday, December 27th at about 4:08 p.m., Sioux Falls Fire Rescue got a dispatch to a purported residential fire on the 1400 block of East 6th Street. The initial reports indicated that it was a vacant home that was engulfed in flames. First arriving crews identified that they did have heavy smoke and flames coming from the building. It was about a 3-minute response for us, so we arrived shortly thereafter the incident was reported. Fire crews did extinguish the fire, and they evacuated some neighboring occupants out of the home just adjacent to the house on 1600 East 6th Street, 1400, sorry, East 6th Street. Crews were able to get the fire under control within 30 minutes of being on scene. And as of this point, we are going to have to list the fire as still under investigation. The evidence that was found under the fire investigation was referred on to our Property Crimes Division. They will have the lead from this point forward in reporting back any of the issues or information that's derived from their investigation.
Question? There's
Sir.
a previous fire, same address.
Yeah.
What was the ruling on that one? Because the gas company was there and it was thought maybe it was a gas leak. Was that one ruled definitively?
That was an explosion. It started off as a home that had some collection of gas within it. The gas obviously found an ignition point and then caused the explosion. As far as because of the nature of a gas explosion, it's probably considerable as a reason why we can't tell you exactly where it came from or exactly what appliance it was, but we know it was downstairs in the basement where the basic utilities were for the home. It was directly next door to this property that we had a fire on Friday. But outside of that, at this point, we're not ready to comment on if there's any correlation or circumstances that make them linked together in any way.
But the first one, there was gas involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, there wasn't any indication that there was an explosion or anything else like that. The fire was basically contained to the first floor. The basic layout of the home is a basement, main floor, grade level, and then an upstairs area. So the fire was principally contained to that first floor at grade.
Was there even electric to the home?
Our understanding is that there were no utilities turned on at the home.
So were you guys investigating arson?
We are going to have to list it as under investigation. There's some physical evidence that needs to be followed up by our Property Crimes Division, so beyond that, we don't have a case status that gets into anything other than the case being under investigation until somebody's charged.
Were the initial findings inconclusive, or you just kind of verifying?
Our initial findings were that there was enough evidence on scene that indicated to us that it wasn't spontaneous. There were signs that needed to be followed up on. So our Property Crimes Division and PD will follow up on it and see what they can derive from it.
Did you follow up with the gas company on the first one? Is that neighborhood safe? People are really junky in the neighborhood. I mean, what would you tell them?
I would tell them the best thing to do is practice good safety habits with regards to their own home, making sure that they have smoke alarms, making sure they're installed in the proper places. A carbon monoxide detector this time of year is always good and a good thing to have. I wouldn't say that there's a overt risk within the neighborhood. What I would say is if they practice good safety habits, they would be safe as any other neighborhood within the city of Sioux Falls. So those would be the messages I would have for them.
Because the gas situation was repaired.
Yeah.
Follow up with them? I mean, they have repaired it.
So these homes were in a process of being demolished. So there's some evidence that there were permits taken out for them, and they were on the process to being demolished at some point into the future, so,
Both homes were.
yeah.
Does the city at some point, maybe this is a different division, move forward with like saying we should just bulldoze these houses and get them out of here now so that people don't like party in them or do anything in them? I don't know.
Well, as fire marshal, the principal concerns that we have is if the property is scheduled for demolition, to make sure that there's a permit at that location and make sure that it's known that we have a pending demolition of that property. As far as policy from the city on how we deal with properties of that nature, I couldn't comment on.